So yeah, bit of an experiment with the camera. Hope it's working alright. I can see the lens, so I'm assuming it can see me. Welcome back to Overcast Retford, not very sunny today. What I'm going to show you today is how to make, using templates, a pair of brackets to mount the rear of the gearbox on the cross member onto the car. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll swizzle you around so you can see what I'm talking about and what I'm sort of actually in towards, and then we'll start with the video in there. Thank you. Okay, so assuming you can see what I'm doing now, I've cut a bit of cardboard. I'm going to lay that in here. The height of the gearbox doesn't really matter at the moment. So this is old school method of doing it really. I'm going to use the flat edge of the card. It's nothing special, it's just a bit of corrugated out of an old box. I'm going to use the flat edge of the card, and what I'm doing here is I'm moving along to make sure it's long enough to cover the front of the cross member. I'm allowing a little extra there in case the cross member has gone a bit wibbly wobbly while it's sat there. I can always trim it off. It's easy to trim off than it is to put back on. I'm also making sure we're getting into that corner, and I'm using that as a template now. Okay? So, you should be able to see that there. This is the line here. So I'll trim that with my scissors. If you've ever tried working with steel, it's a lot easier trimming a piece of cardboard with scissors than it is a piece of steel, especially when it's 5 or 6 mil thick and then you find out it's wrong. I will say, at least with 5 or 6 mil thick steel, it's an awful lot easier to weld bits back to if you do get it wrong. So putting that back in place now, that's a pretty blooming good fit. Needs a little bit more radius. Again, it's a tiny bit off. This tube is 3 mil thick. The plate I'm going to use is about 5 mil thick, so you know you can sort of weld up gaps and things very easily. It's probably going to sit down about here, although I may mount it a tiny bit higher because again I can always use spaces in here. The mounting holes are here. I'm going to draw through the mounting holes. I'm hoping you can see that and I'm not just standing in the way all the time. I'm not going to drill the mounting holes now, they're just purely for reference. Okay. So if I zoom you out a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so what I've done there is I've made this, that fits up there. These are the mounting holes. So what I'm going to do is freestyle a little here. What I might do is come straight across there, thus. Promised myself, having watched the last video I did, I would stop saying the word thus. So I've just dropped a couple of thuses in there inadvertently and by accident. Sorry about that. It does drive me insane. Now, I've made these a little bit bigger than they probably need to be. I've probably Swiss cheese a few holes in here just to make it a little bit lighter and stop mutton soil and any other sort of junk sitting on the top of it. However, I reckon now, I'll zoom you back into there. It's obviously you're at a little bit of a funny angle seeing that, but that fits in there quite nicely. The holes still line up. I am touching the top of here. What I'm going to do before I do any welding is put the transmission jack under here because there's a lot of slack in a transmission mount. They're quite soft. So I don't want these to bolt up and then the gearbox to collapse that mount down because this is a very, very heavy gearbox and it does take a lot of the weight of the engine as well. So I will make sure that's sat at a height I'm sort of content with before I weld in. And like I said, I'd rather it be a little bit high because again I can put a spacer in here between the cross member and my plates that will allow that to space down a little should I need to. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to try it in the other side whilst I'm here. Yeah, it fits that side beautifully as well. Now I'm not going to drill the holes. I can get in above to weld captive nuts in and or captive bolts, probably captive nuts in the top, and then wind some screws in. I don't want them to interfere above here because this is going to have aluminium sheet across it and become the floor up to the transmission cross member. Okie dokie. So yeah, pretty happy with the shape of that. It fits both ways. You can see it says Royal Mail on it and my address. It's just ordinary corrugated card. I can just add something here before I start talking about fabrication and welding. I do a lot of fabrication, I do a lot of bodywork, panel work. I really enjoy it actually. I used to hate it, but I actually really enjoy it. What I will say about making things, probably less so with this, but more so if you're making floor sections, wing sections, door sections, the more time spent making the fit as accurate as possible, the better the result will be. So if you spend 10 minutes and go, yeah, I'll just bash it about a bit and I'll fill it with weld and oh, there's a gap there. I've done it, I've made a section and then inadvertently cut a piece off it. And because that section's maybe take me an hour and a half to make, it's all bent and shaped, I'll want to just fill it in. But the fact is, the time you save by making your plates, your repair sections, things like that, work and fit correctly, pays dividends. When it comes to filling, painting, finishing things off, even just the welding section, it makes life so much easier. The better the fit, the better the result. I'm not going to say I've never heated something up and bashed it to fit a bit. And yes, it moves around and sometimes you have to lanish it a little bit as you go, beat it a little bit and take dents out and stuff. I acknowledge all that. But the fact is, if it's a rotten fit, you'll get a rotten result and that's it. It's like laying a course of bricks raw on the floor. By the time you get to the top of the house, it's going to be a disaster. You're going to be 2 inches tipped over. If you get it right now, as right as you can physically get everything, it pays dividends and it saves you an awful lot of time, grief, hassle. It takes longer to try and fix a bodge than it does just to do it right in the first place, in my experience. So I've cut that out. Still sharp around the edges there, but I might need to alter those a little bit. So all being well, and I haven't tried it yet. This is the money shot. So yeah, needs a little tiny modicum taken out of here. So what you do is this is a sharpie. So I'm not doing it with measurements or anything like that, I'm just going to smooth a tiny bit out of there. I've had a slight change of plan while I've been doing it. What I think is I'm going to make 2 of these, bolt them to the cross member, lift the cross member, even them up and then tack them in and weld them in. I'm going to weld them top and bottom for obvious reasons. Okay, so we're back. I've taken a tiny bit off that corner. It does fit an awful lot better here. It may just need a tiny bit more off. I think there's a little bit of a ridge here, which I probably need to address first. I'll do that whilst you're here. That's just from the old cross member that used to be there. So yeah, if that's going to ride about there, which I suspect it is, almost level with the bottom of the floor, that actually fits incredibly well. Okay, so Hopefully you can see me now. I've put some speed holes in these, as you can see. They're now handed, I hope. I've rolled a section on them. I'm hoping you can see that. I'll sneak you up to that a little bit. So I've rolled a return around the edges there, just to add a little bit of strength. I've welded the corners up here. You can see that I've ground those back as well. So I've welded those up. You can see I welded it here, here. And I've just put a lip around the edge. That adds incredible amounts of strength in both planes. Now this side here, is obviously going to be welded to the chassis. The holes are going to be drilled here for the cross member to bolt to at some point. But I'm going to get these welded in now. I'm going to clamp them up to the cross member until I'm happy and confident that they're in the right place. And then I'll set them roughly level. They should set themselves level. They should wedge themselves in because they're going to be below the centre line of the curve of the tube. So I'll do that now. So, all being well, you can see those welded in. You can see a pinhole there in the corner I've got to weld up. Welder was really messing me about there. It's especially when you weld upside down with high power, it does tend to cause some issues because the molten metal drips down into the nozzle and it welds itself shut. So I zipped you off there and finished these up, without you watching. But there you can go. Speed holes, cross member, speed holes, cross member. It's pretty level. I had the spirit level on it just to check how level it was to the pipes and everything. I'm quite pleased with that. Doesn't hold it hasn't added a vast amount of weight. It should do the job nice and strong. If it's not strong enough, I'll cut it out and do it with something stronger, or I'll add some gussets up on the top. We'll of course have to drop the car down and weld her up on top. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. It's come out okay. Just need to drill some nuts and bolt holes, but my batteries are flat, so I'll stop the video there. Of course, I'm fairly sure you'll know how to drill a bolt hole. If you don't, keep watching, you might might be able to pick something up. But yeah, those need welding at the top, but it's a good strong fix. And yeah, pretty pleased with that. Still need to centralise the gearbox as well, sorry, before I drill the holes. I think it's bang on, but I just need to check. Thanks a lot. Okay, time's getting on, but I thought I'd just show you that I've drilled the holes in there to mount up the cross member. I've run out of 5/16 UNF bolts, so that one's missing one. I've also just welded up the ends there, just to stop any bend or anything like that in this straight section here. I think I may actually put a gusset from the top of there to the edge of here, just to be on the safe side. It all feels very solid because I've obviously welded it right across there as well. I've also welded up the pinhole because, yeah, it was driving me nuts. Just like to add here that in case anybody's wondering, yes, I do get burnt to hell welding upside down, especially if you're doing massive high power jobs like this. This was on number 6 of 7, if in case you care. The fact is you just get bloody used to it. So yeah, I've got used to it over the years. So that's that. Occasionally it makes me jump. You might notice me jumping in one of them, but not really, not much anymore. The burns do take all your tattoos out there, I will add that. So yeah, one successful cross member mounting. I think it might be a tiny weeny bit too high. I'll have to check the pinion angle before I start. The output shaft angle there, sorry, relative to this pinion angle, going to pretty much square those up. Well, they've got to be identical, okay, so that's going to be coming down as much as that one's going up. I've mentioned it before in a different video. So yeah, I'll say thank you and good night.